Anne-Marie, our online support community for later in life lesbians is about to have a major upgrade. So, do you want to tell the nice people what's going on, or is it still a secret?
Oh, we are so ready to share this great news. I'll be happy to do the honors. We have found a new home online inside of a platform called Mighty Networks. We've created a space where we can build community, offer group support meetings, host workshops, offer courses, share resources, offer live events, and it's all in one place, which is so convenient for you and convenient for us. Think of it as your online neighborhood drop-in center for us later in life lesbians.
Well, that sounds fantastic. But wait a sec. Is this just for women who are coming out or who are in the messy middle?
That's such a great question. This space will be for all later in life lesbians, no matter what stage you're in, from curious and questioning to navigating the messy middle to being fully out. When you subscribe, you get access to all kinds of support, no matter what stage you're in.
Amazing. So, what are you calling this later in life lesbian drop-in center? How can we find it?
We are named Authentically Us, and we're officially launching on February 10th, but you're free to check it out and sign up now at AnneMarieZanzal.com.
Okay, well, we'll drop that address in the show notes. That's www.AnneMarieZanzal.com. And hey, I'll see you inside of Authentically Us. I can't wait.
Me neither.
Hey, queer friends and allies. Welcome to Season 6 of Coming Out and Beyond, LGBTQIA Stories. Here's your host, Anne-Marie Zanzal.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Coming Out and Beyond. I'm Anne-Marie.
Hey, I'm Barb.
And we have some things to talk about this week. Some of it's a little tough and a little hard. Some of it is about hope, and some of it is about finding new community. So first of all, Barb and I want to just acknowledge last week.
Yeah, that was a tough one, I think, for not just for us, but we spent a lot of the week holding a lot of very scared, sad, and angry women and making space for them. Last week, as we know, there's been a big transition in America, which has left a lot of people feeling very uncertain about the future and vulnerable for those in our queer community.
Well, unfortunately, everybody's vulnerable. Like the news every day, there's something more upsetting, especially for people who are on the margins. People like, for example, SNAP benefits, which is food for people who are poor and hungry, have been suspended for the time being. So where are people going to get food? I just don't know. And one of the things that I am doing to care for myself is trying not to be on social media, because both Barb and I have noticed this, is that, if you're on social media, like a lot of us are arguing again with people, which we stopped a few years ago. But I think we're just so mad and we want to say something. And so if you see somebody on Facebook about something that you disagree on, you start arguing. And I did that a couple of times. And then I'm like, I can't waste my emotional energy right now. I have to protect my emotional energy for myself. Use my phone here. For myself, for my communities that I run, for my wife, for my family. And for the greater communities that I serve. I cannot waste my energy on social media. So that is one thing I'm doing. How about you, Barb?
Do you find yourself like starting to write a reply, starting a sentence, and then go, screw it?
I'm like, I type away, even like other things that, that are maybe not related to what's going on in politics. I find myself doing it, and I'm like, what am I doing? I cannot waste my energy right now, especially on social media. And so I have been really working hard to set some boundaries with myself about replying and spending a lot of time on there. And actually, I'm really excited that I'm starting to move away from it. I feel like social media, Facebook used to be such a in the beginning, it was great. You got, it was happy. You got to check out people. And then over the last 10 years, it has really morphed into something else. And it's like, now I'm like, why am I here? I don't need life existed before Facebook. It can exist after Facebook.
Yes. Recent changes definitely have changed the tone of many social media platforms, not just Facebook.
Can you speak
Twitter,
about?
I'm looking at you. Oh, I guess we can't call it Twitter anymore, right?
Yes, it's X. But can you?
Yeah, I don't even.
Can you speak to the changes on Facebook? Because people may not know.
Sure. And speaking of, starting to write something or write a reply, I wrote what probably amounts to an essay's worth of thoughts and opinions about recent changes on Facebook, which include in their community standards under hate speech that Facebook now will allow users to call members of our community, the queer community, including trans individuals, mentally ill. And they will allow that based on the current discourse, a current religious and political discourse on homosexuality, they use that word, and transgenderism. And when I read that, I mean, it felt like a whomp in the chest, not just for myself as a queer individual, for all my queer friends, and also for my trans child. And I thought, wow, if this is what they are going to allow, it is clear that, let's just be clear. First of all, we don't use the word homosexuality anymore. That was a word that was invented by the medical and psychiatric communities in the early 20th century to pathologize same-sex attraction.
Absolutely.
We don't use that word anymore. Not to mention being gay and being transgender, like those were removed from the DSM decades ago. I mean, it was 1973 or 74 when homosexuality was removed from the DSM. So all of our governing health authorities in the United States and in Canada do not recognize these to be mental illnesses. These are the health authorities that govern our care and have created a standard of care for people in our communities that is hopefully, the aim is for it to be non-discriminatory. Facebook doesn't care about that. They are allowing that kind of language. I feel I'm getting heated already. Facebook is allowing for that, despite the fact that our health authorities don't, and it's clearly not mental illness. However, they're allowing that to happen. So until such time as we can fully move things off of Facebook, and that is challenging for so many of us. I mean, how long have you been using Facebook? I've been using it since the first year.
Yeah, like 2007, 2008. I remember in the beginning, like parents weren't supposed to get on it.
Right. Yeah. It was a different. Yeah. Now it's for, an older.
Well, the only people on there now are old people like us.
Yeah, exactly. But we've curated our lives onto Facebook. We have photos that we've uploaded over the years, watching, if you go into your Facebook gallery, you can probably watch the evolution of your family. Those reminders of people who were connected to, here's your daily reminder of, your friendship with this person, or this is what happened on this day last year or 5 years ago or 10 years ago. So it can feel, I think, very difficult to extract ourselves. But I agree with you that leaving or not looking at it is important. RuPaul says you can look into the darkness, but don't stare at it.
Right. So, yeah, I mean, it's, and actually, I don't think many people know this, but I have watched movies and documentaries about how the fate, like going on social media, is dopamine hits because you sit there and scroll. That's why you can sit there and scroll for hours, and lately it feels like doom scrolling. So you're sitting there for hours scrolling because you're getting a dopamine hit. So when you first decide to go off, if you decide to go off of social media, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, or any of the others, that the best thing to do, you will feel a withdrawal from it. So just like there's even small tricks people do, like removing it from your phone. Remove it from your phone. You can't check it out unless you're on your computer, or removing it from your computer and you can't check it out unless you're on your phone. Just little tricks like that, because I do think it's really important that we care for our mental health these days. And one of the biggest things that we can do besides minimizing social media is find community. Barb and I beat the drum about finding community all the time.
Yes.
And right now we need it more than ever. So I want to share something with you all. Let me see if I can get it. I do. So if you're on the YouTube, you can see this, but we're going to talk a little bit about finding community. So, because it's important if you're queer, and there's lots of ways to find community. People think that they have to go to a queer bar and go into a queer space to find queer community. No. And yeah, you can do that if you like that and enjoy that, but you don't have to. So my artist friend here, Barbara Rowlandson, is going to talk about some of the ways you can do it in art.
Yeah, absolutely. Queer people are everywhere. So no matter what your interest is, pick an activity that is aligned with your interests. Now, I'm somebody who is much more aligned with the arts. So I would be inclined to do things I've done in the past are joined a community theater. Community theaters are always looking for people to work front of house, backstage, or if you're a performer, you can audition.
That's a really big one in the gay community. If you're in a big city, there's a chance you can find a gay choir. And if you like to sing, why don't you meld the two together?
Yes, and actually, we could probably go out and find this little bit of research I've found in the past that speaks to how people who participate in choral singing are statistically happier.
Well, that's
greater life satisfaction. Right? They have greater life satisfaction than people who don't. So choral singing is when you're talking about replacing your dopamine, try choral singing. It is clearly very good for your mental health. If you're somebody in the visual arts, there's always independent galleries, shows that you could be participating in, competitions that you can apply to, calls for public work. If you are somebody who just likes to write and you're a creative writer, there's creative writing groups, poetry slams, how fun, open mics. You don't have to be, perfect to participate in these things. You could just be somebody who knows 5 chords on a guitar and can cover a few tunes.
Well, and also we had a client that actually joined a karaoke competition, and karaoke competition, it wasn't in a gay place per se, a gay restaurant, but there were so many people in the karaoke competition that were queer, and she actually ended up meeting a bunch of people that she's now friends with.
That's amazing.
The first piece of advice about getting through these times is finding a space that you find happiness. And if it happens to fill your queer need too, great. But first start with what you like to do. So I know a lot of lesbians a lot of queer folks love to travel. My wife and I are travelers. She would like to camp. I do not camp. I'm a glamper. But, finding communities of people that like to camp or travel. I also am a business person. So I belong to the LGBTQ Chamber of Commerce here in Nashville. My wife is certified by the National NGLCC. So even places like that are always looking for members. If you have a business and you want to meet other business people that share the same values with you, it's a perfect opportunity to be able to connect with folks. And if your town has a local pride committee, or the town 2 towns over has a local pride committee, join the pride community, because they're always looking for volunteers. Absolutely. And also it's something, pride happens typically in June in most places, but people plan for it all year long. So if you want to volunteer, and you could keep your volunteering to a minimum, but you're socializing to the max.
Sure.
Some other ways that people can find more community is how, Barb?
Well, listen, our people love the kayaking. They love the pickleball.
kayaking,
softball.
and softball. Softball is a gateway sport for lesbianism. Did you know that?
Yes. Apparently, what would happen if I started playing softball? Would I get gayer? I might.
Yes, you would.
Okay. It's hard to imagine, but okay. And again, just like with the arts, you don't have to be perfect at it. You just have to participate.
Oh,
Go
pickleball
in.
is a great sport for people that like I have a group of people I play with, but like I am not a racquetball person, but I can play pickleball and I'm actually pretty good at it. I mean, like, I'm probably a advanced beginner or a below intermediate, a low intermediate, but I just learned it and it's such an easy game to learn. It really is. And you get out there, you get in the sun, you get some endorphins, you get the vitamin
Yes.
D. It's a great way to meet other people that are playing.
Yeah. And building up, like you're talking about replacing that dopamine again. Okay. So let's go out there, replace our dopamine, improve our serotonin, our oxytocin, all of those good things that we get from physical activity. And then group sports as well, being around other people, finding connection. So finding a rec league that you can belong to, you can go move around a little bit, move your body, and then go have a beer with the gals afterwards.
Well, and that's why like kayaking, finding a kayaking group in your area if you like to be on the water. Now, everybody may not be gay in there, but there are a lot of gay women that kayak or gay people that kayak. Everybody's not going to be gay in your pickleball league, but there are a lot of gay people that play pickleball. And softball is probably majority gay. And you may find your folks there. I am not a softball player. I'm not a team sports player, but I am an individual sports player, and I do like to kayak. So pickleball and kayaking is my two stuff that I really like to do. I do know a lot of people that are queer love to hike. So, if you love to hike, join a hiking club, wear a little rainbow bracelet around your wrist, put a little rainbow pin on it so that other queers can say, oh, either, oh, she's gay or she's a really great ally. You talk to them, you'll figure it all out. So it is I really encourage us to really find community right now during this time. And then where else can we find it?
Well, especially in times that are contentious, like right now, this is a great time to make yourself feel empowered by leaning into activism. And there are plenty of outlets for that. So I'm a little less familiar about what those are in the United States since I'm up in Canada. But PFLAG, I mean, that's kind of a standard, right?
Right. That's parents or friends, parents and parents and friends of lesbians and gays, or maybe it's parents and family. I don't know.
One or the other. Both work. Right. What else?
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Barb.
I was just going to ask, what else in the States?
There's a lot of LGBTQ centers. They're always looking for volunteers. Sometimes they do have support groups for people coming out later in life. In the U.S., there's also HRC, or the Human Rights Campaign. They're always looking for volunteers, but they're also looking for people just to come to events and stuff like that. And online too is an opportunity to find people. There are other places besides Facebook. There's Reddit, there's Discord, and we also a lot of our clients have success with Meetup.
Yes.
So they find something they like to do, they go to a Meetup. And I actually joined Meetup when I was first coming out. And I did find, like, I hung out with a community there in the first 18 months my wife and I were dating. When she would come up, we would go to the community events they had. And it was nice because I got to meet other people. It was during such a transition time of my life, but it was nice to be with a group of women that understood what I was going through.
And the nice thing about Meetup too is if something doesn't exist in your area, guess what? You can create it. And if you build it, they will come, right?
If you build it, they will come. People are always looking for stuff to do. There's an epidemic of loneliness in this country. So if you want to create something, even if it's something small, like a book club or you get together and you paint or do puzzles or whatever, Like finding community is so helpful for all of us right now, straight or gay, that need some support, other people around them as we figure out how we're going to navigate all that is going on. So, you know what I am so excited about building community is that we're making some great changes here. As we know, we've talked about the challenges of social media in the beginning of this podcast, and I'm just tired. I'm tired of Facebook. I am tired of the negativity on it. And I, for my own personal reasons, need to not be on it as much. Of course, I'll keep my profile up because people need to find me and the work I do. Are you going to keep your profile up too?
For the time being, because obviously I have work commitments there, but also, I mean, this is one of the challenges of being on Facebook. I'm somebody who was there right from year one.
Yeah.
So a lot of my life is curated there. It can feel difficult to extract ourselves from that. However, I feel very strongly about this. Like Facebook profits off of our data.
Mm-hmm.
This is how they make money. And if I participate in this as a consumer, I have power to be able to participate in something or not. And I don't want them profiting off of me if this is the kind of environment that they're going to cultivate. So we have a choice. We can go somewhere else. We can give our time, our data, our energy, our attention, our money to a platform that is much more protective of our individual rights. Right? Like, I love that Mighty Networks is founded by a woman. I love.
And actually, I talked to her.
That's amazing.
I reached out to her on LinkedIn because I had some specific questions. And guess what, Barb? She answered me.
Wow.
You think Mark Zuckerberg would answer me if I reached out with some questions about his network on Facebook or on LinkedIn? Absolutely not.
I do not think that would be a thing. So, yeah.
So we have moved to Mighty Networks. We are moving our communities to Mighty Networks because we like what we can create on there. So we're going to start. The name of our new community on Mighty Networks is called Authentically Us. It is a paid for community. It is $35 a month, but you can join free for a week to check it out. And we want to say that this is an opportunity. This is so much more than Facebook. Like, Facebook is like going to the mom and pop store down the end of the street. While this is going to, I'm going to say Costco, because we are bigger and better.
Yes.
We offer we are not a warehouse store, but we offer so much more for our community. So what I love about Mighty Network is spaces we can create.
Totally. I think that so I like your analogy, and I think mine would be, the Facebook group that we've been running is like meeting up at a bar or a party where the Authentically Us is like your online drop-in center for later in life lesbians, right? I
like riffing off on that analogy. The community that is like, on Facebook is like meeting in the bar. There's 2 of them, by the way. And Authentically Us is like going on a vacation and having lots of options.
Yes. There's resources. There's a lot more available within Authentically Us than we could ever offer on Facebook. And one of the reasons for this is that, and I know you've seen it, is there is a need, like a desperate need from this community for support and resources for the coming out process, divorce process, building your whole new life. Like, women are desperate for this kind of support, but often it's inaccessible to join some of the support programs. So $35 a month subscription is a very easy entryway into a space where the kinds of support that this particular population really needs is all there. So I think it's like, where else can you get this kind of experienced, like, credentialed support for this particular group of people. I don't think it exists anywhere else.
And so what we're going to have in there is, first of all, if you think about Authentically Us, it's an apartment building, big apartment building.
Sure.
And then we have little apartments in there, or what they're called on Authentically Us is spaces. So we have created spaces for the newbies on the journey. You're curious, you're questioning, you're thinking, maybe I'm not straight. And we have not only resources in there, the course that I've created called Maybe I'm Not Straight will be in there starting March 1st. There will be support groups that you can meet like once a week. You know, sometimes they're at night, sometimes they're during the day. It really depends on the people. You know, we have to keep them at different times because we have people from all over the world.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it'd be great to put them all at night. But first of all, there's two things going on here. Is that one, we have a lot of people that are like in Europe or in other parts of the world. And so 10:30 or noon or something like that works much better for them. And two, Barb and I don't want to work every night. And that's called boundaries. That's just called boundaries. That is not something we want. You know, we both work evenings, but one or two evenings a week is fine, not 4 evenings of work. We just don't want to live our lives that way. And it's just called boundaries. And it's okay that I have boundaries around my business and Barb boundaries around her time. So there's another reason why that it's during the day, that there are meetings during the day. So there's the curious and questioning. The biggest part I think I really love is that there's going to be messy middle stuff. So if you are in the messy middle and you are trying to figure out everything, and you may be divorcing your spouse.
Right.
There will be community for you. Again, those groups meet once a week. And also, too, Barb and I will have resources within that group. As we get to work on this group, it's going to get better and better. So we will put up, for example, podcasts that we have done with each other or with other people in which we talk about navigating the messy middle, navigating curious and questioning. What is wonderful about this platform is we can put everything in one place and you can find it. Another space that we are going to do is lavender dating. Talk about that, Barb.
Yay!
Barb space.
My domain, yes. So this is a space where we'll be able to do some events, workshops, some education, and possibly even a little speed dating, maybe down the line. If there's enough interest, we can do a regular speed dating event. And it's just an opportunity for anybody who's like at that stage where like, okay, I'm beyond the messy middle. I'm, stepping into my queer identity. I'm ready to meet somebody. And I haven't dated in 10, 20, maybe even 30 years. So what does dating even look like at this stage of life? And for a lot of the women that we work with, they haven't yet dated women yet either. So there's that is new and it can seem really scary and it's really interesting. So of course I just did part 1 of a 2-part workshop last Saturday.
Right. And that workshop we're going to put up in the lavender dating for you.
Yes. Yeah. It's going to be up in there for you to have a look at. And it's interesting to me to hear feedback from the folks who've registered is a lot of their trepidation, their perceived obstacles to dating. It's kind of up here. It's not actually what's out there, but it's limiting beliefs about what they believe dating to be or who they are. So we do some work around that and to help you sort of psychologically prepare to take that next big step, which is so smart. I mean, we don't do anything big in our lives without some kind of consultation, right? Like, you want to learn to drive a car? Guess what? You got to take driving lessons. You want to, for folks who wanted to get married, a lot of them will do like some marriage courses before they start. You're off to look for your next partner in life. Maybe get a little support beforehand so that you can start.
And so we're planning in the beginning to have Barb answer your questions about dating once a month. And so you'll get to work with somebody who is an expert in dating and relationships. And you can work with her once a month in that group for $35 a month. And another thing, so the foundations and the foundations of Lotus Community Coaching, which is our signature program that is not going away because it is intimate, it is small, you get one-on-one sessions with Barb and I. It is such a value for what you get. So our three pillars of that is self-kindness, shared common humanity, and mindfulness. So joining this group is practicing self-kindness. Totally. Because you're taking care of yourself and you're finding, if it's hard to find the money, you're finding the money and you're doing it. If you can't find the money, you're reaching out to Barb and I and saying, oh, I want to join. And we will always help people with that. Mm-hmm. But the third thing is mindfulness. And so every week on Mondays at noon Central Time, I'm going to be doing meditation and mindfulness. First of all, one, I love it. I love meditating in community, but it is an opportunity for you to gather with other people, learn how to practice mindfulness, learn about meditation, and begin to understand why it is so important to our life's journey, not just to our coming out journey. Mm-hmm. So I think that's all we've got for now in the group. Correct about with our mutual support groups. I'm so sorry. Barb and I, it's been very busy here. I think that's it for now.
For now, yeah.
But our vision, we have a vision. We want to create this community as a space for people to go to. Mm-hmm. So Barb in the future will be offering support for parents of trans kids. She is an expert group facilitator, but she's also a mom of a trans daughter. So she will be offering those spaces. I am an ex-minister. Most of the people following my, that are in my communities, 80% of them come from conservative religious traditions. Very happy to offer like a religion and spirituality support group where we can discuss the greater meanings, the ultimate concerns. So those will come as we get bigger. And we are also open to people that have been in the community for a while that we've gotten to know, starting maybe their own small support, spaces, starting their own small spaces. And so maybe we end up with 50 people from New Jersey. And then you do a little New Jersey space in there so that you guys can find each other. You can get together. We really want to create a space where we have community. We have opportunities to connect. We meet other people that are going through this journey online. But we are also meeting people that we might be able to meet in person, because as somebody who came out later in life, online was wonderful for about 6 months. And then I'm like, I need to find people. I got to talk to people in person. I need to find friends,
So I agree with you. That's so important. It's why we've been doing the Wing Women Weekend retreats. Those really help to even just going away for 3 or 4 days and meeting our people in person. Like that can sustain you for such a long time. And in those gap spaces, you have the online community to be able to be a place where you find support. And I love knowing that we have events, in-person events to look forward to. And then sort of the afterglow of those events, they stretch out for a pretty long time.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. So somebody joined Lotus Community Coaching that came to Nashville 2 weekends ago. And she said, it was really interesting. She goes, that it did sustain me. She goes, but now I'm finding myself missing it so much. Mm-hmm. And that is one of the reasons why I want to join the community. Of course, if you join Lotus Community Coaching, Authentically Us is included in that. So you can join that community as well at the same time, which is wonderful. It's part of the all-in pricing. So we're really excited about this new step in our journey. We are really excited to welcome you and to have you join us in this new venture of creating something amazing. Yes. So the link is if you're on YouTube, you can find the link below. You'll find the link in the show notes. Join our newsletter, because then that is the way you can really keep updated on what is going on in Anne-Marie Zanzal coaching, Lavender Dating, Authentically Us, all of those things, so that you can just, when you decide the time is right for you, we will be here for you.
Absolutely. Well, so we can sign up for the newsletter on your website, AnneMarieZanzal.com.
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a pop-up that goes up that you can do that.
And the nice thing, you want to find Authentically Us, just go to AnneMarieZanzal.com, because there is a banner on top of my website and you just click and it'll take you there. So we're just going to send you one link. It's called AnneMarieZanzal.com, and you can find everything. So we hope to see you in the group. Thank you so much for listening today, and we will see you soon.
Thank you.
You've been listening to Coming Out and Beyond, LGBTQIA+ Stories with Anne-Marie Zanzal. New episodes of the Coming Out and Beyond podcast drop every other Friday. You can tune in at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and at AnneMarieZanzal.com. Be sure to hit subscribe when tuning in so you never miss an episode. And for more resources, articles, videos, and a free downloadable guide for coming out later in life, visit AnneMarieZanzal.com.